So today I'm celebrating my birthday, and I thought I would do it by talking about my favorite actor, Michael Caine, and what I believe are his 10 best performances, or at least they're the top 10 favorite performances from Michael Caine. Now this isn't his top 10 greatest films, just what I think are his 10 best performances. They're all going to be lead. Believe me, I could do a top 10 of his best supporting performances too. And maybe someday I will. I don't know. But I just feel like the bigger the role, the better Michael Caine actually is. And some of his best performances are also in his best films. But there are a couple movies maybe that were not as well received, but I still think are brilliant, brilliant performances. So, I'm going to begin with 10 through 6, starting with number 10. The Man Who Would Be King, John Huston's epic adventure with Michael Caine, Sean Connery, and Christopher Plummer, based on the Rudyard Kipling short story, features a dashing Sean Connery in one of his absolute best performances. Christopher Plummer is perfect as Rudyard Kipling himself, but the best actor in the movie, who gives the best performance, is in fact Michael Caine. At number 9, I have The Great Escaper, Michael Caine's most recent film. It was supposed to be his last film. At least that's what Michael Caine had planned. I'm a little saddened to hear that Vin Diesel may have actually persuaded Michael Caine to reprise his role in the sequel to The Witch Hunter. I mean, it is very rare for an actor to end his filmography with the perfect film. John Wayne did it with The Shootist, in my opinion. The Great Escaper would have been a great way for Michael Caine's tremendous filmography to end, because he's playing a 90-year-old war veteran, based on a real life story. He himself a 90-year-old war veteran. So it's perfect casting. He and Glenda Jackson give beautiful performances. If there had been any justice, both these actors would have been nominated for Oscars, but there comes a point in time when actors reach a certain age, the Academy tends to forget about them. Well, number 8 might surprise you, but Oliver Stone's The Hand. Look, I know it was panned by the critics in 1980 or 81, whenever it was made. But it was treated like a horror film, and Oliver Stone will tell you himself, this was never meant to be a horror film. This was a psychological thriller, and Michael Caine gives a scary but grand performance in it. A little over the top, but in the most fun way possible. I still recommend this film. I think it's a kind of a misunderstood movie. At number 7, I have Youth. Michael Caine plays a classic music composer. He's good friends with Harvey Keitel, who plays a film director. Also stars Rachel Weisz and Jane Fonda. And it's essentially a topic, the topic is about age and about, some older folks and, dealing with, this stage of their life. But it's a wonderful film. I have only seen it once, but I do remember the performances being terrific. I know the European Film Awards honored it with Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor for Michael Caine. I really should see it again, because it actually, he may actually rise even higher on this list if the performance is even better than I remember. And at number 6, Harry Brown. Man, I don't know what to tell you about this film. It's gritty, it's edgy, it's not a bad companion piece for another movie that I will mention later, but that's very, very high up on my list. But this film came out around the same time, if I recall correctly, as Clint Eastwood's Grand Torino, and it kind of has similar themes. You know, an older sort of veteran who has to deal with some young punks. And if anything, this might even be edgier than the Eastwood film, but it is a terrific performance from Michael Caine. And it's if you ever get an opportunity to watch it, you should really see Harry Brown. Now that we got 10 through 6 out of the way, here are my top 5 favorite Michael Caine performances. Number 5. So in 1984, Michael Caine won Best Actor at the British Academy Awards, the BAFTAs, for Educating Rita. And he won the Golden Globe for Best Actor, albeit in a comedy musical, for Educating Rita. It was supposed to be his year at the Academy. He was supposed to win the Oscar that year for Best Actor. Now, you will see, obviously, there are going to be movies or performances I think are even better. But it oftentimes to win Oscars, it's not about your best performance, it's about when it's your year. And more than any other year, 1984 was supposed to be Michael Caine's year. Because in 1983, he comes out with Educating Rita, a very highly acclaimed film. He and Julie Walters are excellent. Michael Caine changes his look. He gains a little weight, grows out his hair and his beard, plays an alcoholic who is teaching, an alcoholic professor who is teaching this Cockney, kind of rough around the edges woman how to be better spoken, and he teaches her about literature, and he falls in love with her. And it's a bit of a showy performance. I guess it was meant to win the Oscar, but he deserves it. And it went to Robert Duvall instead. Now, the irony here is that Michael Caine, most of his career, has been a leading man, and he occasionally has played supporting roles. Robert Duvall, it's the opposite. He's spent his career playing in supporting parts, and then occasionally having lead roles. And yet somehow Robert Duvall is a Best Actor winner, and Michael Caine, as of right now, has only won 2 supporting actor Oscars. Now those are great. Any Oscar is great, but it's just ironic. Number 4. I love A Shock to the System. It is a highly underrated film. Not a lot of people have heard of it. It's about a middle-aged corporate executive who keeps getting passed over for promotion. I think it's an advertising agency. And he's absolutely frustrated, and he's had enough. And he ends up climbing the corporate ladder by murdering people. It's a dark comedy / thriller, and it's only about an hour and a half or an hour and 40 minutes, something like that. It's a pretty short movie, if I recall correctly. But it's fun, it's thrilling, and Caine, you just can't take your eyes off of him. You can't take your eyes off him. He is mesmerizing throughout the whole film. Highly recommend this film. If you ever get a chance to stream it, and I think it's probably on Tubi or one of those things, absolutely watch it. I think you'll have a great time. Number 3. Little Voice is one of those movies. It was a gem. It came out in, I want to say, the late 90s. And it was, in many ways kind of Michael Caine's comeback film. He plays kind of a slimy talent agent who kind of hooks up with this woman. And he finds out that the daughter of this woman is incredibly talented and can not only sing, but she's able to do impressions of these famous singer actresses. It's funny. It's It's dramatic. It stars Brenda Blethyn. It stars Ewan McGregor, and Jane Horrocks plays the title character, Little Voice, and she is amazing in the film. Michael Caine wins the Golden Globe again for Best Actor in this movie, and rightfully so. He's not only great throughout the whole film, but there's a very dramatic moment where he gets to perform a song, and you have to see it to know how amazing it is. Okay, so it's funny because he did not get an Oscar nomination for this performance, even though he won the Golden Globe. And I remember that year, Ian McKellen was saddened to see that because Ian McKellen was nominated, but he thought Michael Caine should have been nominated too. And the thought process, or what I heard, was they were trying to convince Michael Caine to go for supporting actor in this role instead of lead, and then he would have been an absolute shoo-in. He would have been, and he probably would have won the Oscar for this performance. But it's a lead role. You watch Little Voice, and you picture, say, Jack Nicholson in that role, and you tell me if they would have tried to convince him to play support or to go for supporting actor at the Oscars. There's no way. Anyway, I don't know where you can find this movie. Hopefully, you can stream it somewhere. I don't even think it's on Blu-ray yet. It's hard to find, but it's a great movie. Number 2. Get Carter is a great Michael Caine film. If this was a list of greatest Michael Caine films, I would probably put this at number 1. And as you see, I put the performance right up there, top 2. This is that movie that I was talking about, Harry Brown being a companion piece to. It is a gritty, tough thriller about a gangster who works in London, but he goes back to his hometown of Newcastle to investigate the death of his brother. Finds out foul play was involved and seeks revenge. It is a tough, tough film, and the location of Newcastle is like its own character, and it's considered by many to be the greatest British gangster film of all time. Enough said. It's just great. Number 1. The Quiet American is based on the Graham Greene novel about a British expat who lives in Vietnam, makes friends with an American agent, in this film played by Brendan Fraser. And it's pre-Vietnam War. And there's some espionage, there's a romantic sort of triangle because Caine's character, Thomas Fowler, is involved with a young Vietnamese woman, and Brendan Fraser also takes a liking to her. Very much it itself could be a companion piece to the other Michael Caine, Graham Greene movie, The Honorary Consul. Has similar themes to it. This is even better, I feel, than The Honorary Consul, which is a very good film also. I think it's very good. But this is a great film. Quiet American's a great film. Michael Caine was nominated for an Oscar for this performance. He was up against Jack Nicholson for About Schmidt, Daniel Day-Lewis for Gangs of New York, Nicolas Cage for Adaptation, and Adrian Brody for The Pianist. Everybody of this group had won a Best Actor award, at least one of them, except Caine and Adrian Brody, and of course they give it to Adrian Brody. But this I think is Michael Caine's finest performance because, I mean, it's a very serious role. It really allows him to sink his teeth into the emotions of the role, and there are moments where the camera really lingers on Caine's aged face, right? All the lines and the wrinkles. And there are times, certain scenes, where I almost don't even recognize Caine. Like, great actors often tend to fall back on certain habits that they do, and Michael Caine's, certainly an actor that does that too. But here, there are times I don't even recognize something that he's doing. I really think it's his most complete, you know, multi-layered performance that he's ever given, which is saying a lot. But it was directed by Philip Noyce, who's a terrific Australian director, and it's one of Caine's finest films, and absolutely his best performance, in my opinion. So there you have it. This is what I think are the top 10 films. Obviously, I left out Alfie, The Ipcress File, and all of his Harry Palmer films, The Italian Job. I mean, there's so many classic Michael Caine films. He delivers great performances in those. He delivers a great performance in Kidnapped, the Robert Louis Stevenson story, The Last Valley, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, Without a Clue. I mean, this Michael Caine often has been accused of playing himself. Why? Because every role he plays seems so natural and comfortable, it seems like he's playing himself. But think about this. He's played gangsters. He's played soldiers. He's played spies. He's played school teachers. He's played egotistical actors. He's played tough guys. He's played members of the LGBTQ community. He's played in comedies, dramas, action films, and yes, even musicals, because if you'll remember, he's also Scrooge in The Muppet Christmas Carol. For everybody who only thinks this guy is Alfred in the Christopher Nolan Batman films, you need to watch more Michael Caine films, and I've just given you 10 films that you should watch.